What's going on, Next News Network family? So today we're witnessing something unprecedented in American history. Tonight, federal forces are mobilizing across our nation's capital. Texas Democrats are literally fleeing their state like fugitives, and the Justice Department just launched a grand jury probe into one of Trump's biggest enemies. Guys, I am Tom McCullough. I'm a White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I'm filling in for Gary Franchi, who's on his way to Ron Paul's 90th birthday celebration, which will be streaming this Saturday, so make sure you guys check it out. And I'm coming to you guys directly from the official Next News Network studio with breaking developments that will reshape the balance of power in Washington. So what sets us apart here at Next News is that we don't just report the news. We interact with you guys, our viewers, getting your real-time reactions to these explosive stories. So share this stream right now via text message to bypass big tech's algorithm. And for our ex-viewers, please repost the show to your followers. Let's spread the truth far and wide. So we're streaming live on YouTube to millions worldwide, plus simultaneously on Rumble and X. You need to follow us on all these platforms because who knows when they'll try to silence us again. And here's something special. We'll be reading your super chats and Rumble rants between segments, and we'll be featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now, even before we dive into today's explosive topics. So if you want to show off your favorite news source and support independent journalism, check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got the Alligator Alcatraz, we got President Otto Pen designs, and our Badass American Badass collection that lets everyone know where you get your real news. So if you want to support this show privately, hit those donation links in the description. Your contributions keep us independent and uncompromised. You can also join our YouTube channel memberships. Each level has its own perks, including special acknowledgement in the chat, exclusive access to the Next News Network team, and behind-the-scenes content, as well as our members-only 24/7 Discord chat where the conversation never stops. So on this day, August 8th, marks a fascinating moment in history. In 1974, President Richard Nixon announced his resignation from office, ending a constitutional crisis that gripped the nation. So just like Nixon faced unprecedented challenges to executive power, today we're seeing President Trump face down his own political enemies, but with a dramatically different approach. Instead of backing down, Trump is going on the offense. Now, let me give you a little preview what's coming up on the show tonight, guys. At midnight tonight, federal law enforcement will flood Washington, D.C. streets in what sources are calling the most aggressive crime crackdown in Capitol's history. We've got exclusive footage of the deployment already beginning. In Texas, Democrat lawmakers literally abandoned their posts, fleeing the state to block Trump-backed redistricting. The FBI is now involved in tracking them down. Arrest warrants are issued, and they're hiding in hotels across America while their paychecks get cut off. The Department of Justice just opened a grand jury investigation into New York Attorney General Letitia James, the woman who went after Trump with that massive civil fraud case. Federal prosecutors are examining whether she violated Trump's civil rights by targeting him for political reasons. My answer is yes, she did. Immigration enforcement is exploding with 80,000 patriots applying for just 10,000 ICE positions, and we'll show you the mountain of fentanyl they just seized and take you to the border where 30-foot tall walls are going up as we speak. And President Trump just ordered a new census that counts only United States citizens, a move that could cost Democrats up to 30 congressional seats. We've got a Democrat congresswoman on tape admitting she needs illegal immigrants for redistricting purposes. The big air quotes on that one. The establishment doesn't want you to see what we are about to show you. They don't want you asking questions about why Democrats need illegal immigrants for political power, or why federal forces are necessary to secure our own capital. But we're here to expose it all. Let's go ahead and dive in, guys. Hey, all right, back at it today. I see we've got Miss Pothead Kenny, as per the usual. How you doing? We got Redneck Newsin. How you doing, buddy? Mr. Mike. We got Karen Finlay. Yes, here we go. Yeah, I'm excited to get going on it, too. It's Friday, so I'm wearing my Friday shirt, if you guys haven't noticed on that one yet. We got Cindy Myers waving hi. So, hey, how you doing back? We're going through here. Who else is in here? Michael Jones, what's up? We got Cindy waving hi again. And we got Pothead Kenny saying Thomas, Brian, Todd, Gary, Brett, Matt, and all the N3 people rule. Yippers. All right, who else we got in here? I'm scrolling through the chat, guys. We've got Henry T. Caderas. Awesome. A lot of people. You guys are really kicking up the comments today. I got to scroll through a whole bunch to get into some of the new people. We've got Scooby Dragon, Nebraska reporting in. We're saying hi from hello to Nebraska. All right. Any super chats? I don't think I see them yet. No super chats. Make sure you guys send in some super chats tonight. They pop up on the screen. And if you have any cool comments or anything, I'd love to talk about in between the segments. It's just a cool way of interacting and getting back through it. So, all right. So topic one tonight, guys, is D.C. takeover. Trump's getting some really cool stuff going. All right. So our trivia question of the night is, which president's wife held seances in the White House to help fight D.C. crime? Was it A, Nancy Reagan? Was it B, Mary Todd Lincoln? C, Hillary Clinton? Or D, Eleanor Roosevelt? Put your answers in the comments below or hit them inside the poll that's popping up on your screen. They said it couldn't happen in America. Federal troops patrolling our capital streets like an occupied city. But tonight, everything changes. It's Tom McCullough here, White House correspondent, filling in while Gary heads to celebrate Ron Paul hitting 90 years of life in fighting for liberty. We'll be streaming that live on Saturday, so make sure you tune in. I'm in our official studio watching history unfold. The president just activated a massive federal force, Homeland Security, ICE, FBI, DEA, ATF, all of the alphabet soup agencies, including the Capitol Police and National Guard units. They're not waiting for sunrise. They're moving now. High-profile murders, brutal beatings, carjackings that make headlines. DC's crime spiral just triggered something unprecedented. What you're about to see will shock you, so stay with us. So if you're getting close to retirement or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing, that you're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings. And one company that makes it easy, Noble Gold Investments. You can buy gold or silver, coins or bars, and have them shipped to your home or stored securely. It's a smart way to convert cash into something that actually holds value. Noble Gold is fair, transparent, and they don't pressure you. Just solid information and real options. So visit nextnewsgold.com and get started. So now let's get to what's really happening on the streets of our nation's capital. The Trump administration just pulled the trigger on something we haven't seen since the Civil War, a complete federal takeover of law enforcement in Washington, D.C. And this isn't rhetoric, guys. This isn't a threat. This is really happening right now as we speak. So we have a breaking news report from Fox News as federal agents begin their deployment across the district. And this footage shows exactly what Democrats don't want you to see, a president taking action while they cry about optics. Take a look.
Tracking down on violent crime in our nation's capital, ordering federal law enforcement on the streets of Washington, D.C. All of this after the president suggested his administration could take over for the police in the city. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Another story, Bill, that we are watching closely. Glad to have you back on the program, Bill.
Happy Friday to you, Sandra. Great to see you as always. I'm Bill Malugin here in Los Angeles. John Roberts has the day off, and this is America Reports. President Trump's decision coming in the wake of several high-profile incidents. A Capitol Hill intern was killed in the crossfire of a drive-by shooting, and a former DOJ staffer was beat bloody by a gang of juveniles. And people in the D.C. area say they've been living in fear for quite some time now.
There is still far too much crime, especially gun violence in our city.
It's gotten a little out of control, especially in the summer. U Street has just become a mess with teens out late causing ruckus.
I'm not going to even lie about that. No, I don't feel like crime is down in my way. Not at all. I wish it would stop, period. I know it's never going to do that.
I think it's going back to a good place, but it's not there yet.
It doesn't stop people with the cams. People are just feels like you're always being preyed on.
Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has more. So, Mike, what exactly is the administration planning for Washington?
Well, Sandra, collaboration between the White House, federal law enforcement, and local authorities is underway. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and other agencies were more visible on the streets late last night. Their goal is to make residents safer. U.S. Park Police says its officers were also out enforcing President Trump's executive order, making the District of Columbia safe and beautiful.
So there it is, ATF, FBI, ICE, all coordinating for what the White House calls necessary action to secure our Capitol. And this isn't random. A Capitol Hill intern was gunned down in a drive-by. A former DOJ staffer was beaten bloody by a gang of teenagers. But here's what CNN reported just before the deployment began. Pay attention to how they try to spin this as unnecessary while admitting the brutal attacks that triggered it. Fake news, guys. Check this out.
It's 6:01 now, and President Donald Trump appears to be ready to follow through on threats to take over D.C.
We're going to beautify the city. We're going to make it beautiful. That includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too.
All new this Thursday morning, sources telling CNN the Trump administration could increase federal law enforcement presence as soon as today. Randy Ayala is live outside the White House with more on what this would look like and the impact it might have on D.C. and its residents. Randy.
Yeah, good morning to you, Allison. And according to CNN, that could mean ICE agents, Homeland Security, National Guard, the FBI, too. And the president claims it's because of crime here in the district and points to reports of the attempted carjacking on a former DOJ staffer. But a senior White House official saying it's much more than that. It's also part of the president's executive order to make D.C. safe and beautiful that was signed back in March and aims to ensure that all applicable quality of life, nuisance, and public safety laws are strictly enforced. Now, the president referenced the former DOJ staffer's assault during a press conference.
What a shame. The rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else, we're not going to let it. And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too. We have a Capitol that's very unsafe. You know, we just almost lost a young man, beautiful, handsome guy that got the hell knocked out of him the night before last.
And you'll remember the president deployed thousands of National Guard members to L.A. back in June to respond to protests across the city over ICE's immigration response. Now, local federal agents have reportedly been told to be ready to be deployed. Meanwhile, when it comes to the president's claims about the increasing crime in the district, well, D.C. police data shows that violent crime is actually down 26% this year compared to last year. And we did reach out to Mayor Muriel Bowser's office to get a comment on what the president is saying and his claims. This morning, we're still waiting to hear back. Back to you.
A 26% drop in violent crime. Come on, that's only because they're not even reporting the crime and they're letting the people go. You need to tell that to Edward Korenstein, the 19-year-old beaten within inches of his life. Tell that to the families burying their dead. The media can massage statistics all day long, but blood on the streets, it doesn't lie. PBS tried to frame this as Trump overstepping his authority. But watch what happens when their expert accidentally admits the president has every legal right to do exactly what he's doing. Take a look.
That's right, Jeff. On Tuesday, the president posted a photo of a bloodied 19-year-old Edward Korenstein after he'd apparently been attacked by a large group. 2 15-year-olds are now in custody. Yesterday, the president had this to say.
What a shame. The rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else, we're not going to let it. And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too. This has to be the best run place in the country, not the worst run place in the country. And it has so much potential, and we're going to take care of it.
It's worth noting that, contrary to the president's claims, violent crime in Washington, D.C. last year hit a 30-year low. But for more on this, I am joined by George Derek Musgrove. He's an associate professor at the University of Maryland and author of the book Chocolate City, A History of Race and Democracy in the Nation's Capital. Derek Musgrove, welcome to the NewsHour.
Thanks for having me.
How seriously should we take this notion that the president has put forward that he's going to send the National Guard in to take over the police?
I think quite seriously, for two reasons. One is that the president has been quite consistent in this regard. I mean, this claim is actually in the GOP platform. And the president has repeated it over and over again, his first term and now in his second. The other is that the president has a great deal of power under the Home Rule Act. He has control of the National Guard. He can send it in. He's actually able to take over the Metropolitan Police Department for a period of about 30 days.
Did you guys catch that? Under the Home Rule Act, the president can control the National Guard and take over the Metropolitan Police for 30 days. This isn't a power grab. It's using constitutional authority that's been there since 1973. Congress gave the president this power. Now he's using it. The deployment is already underway. Live Now from Fox captured this statement from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt as federal officers hit the streets. Take a look.
Let's stay in Washington. Live picture there at the White House. It's almost 10:30 there on this Thursday night in our nation's capital. Remember, here on Live Now, we've been talking about some of these recent instances of crime there in the District of Columbia that have caught President Trump's eye, so much so that he has talked about taking over control of the district, getting rid of home rule for the district, having some type of enhanced federal presence there in the district to tamp down on some of this crime. Well, that is happening. We have a statement in from Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary. She says this: Washington, D.C. is an amazing city, but it has been plagued by violent crime for far too long. President Trump has directed an increased presence of federal law enforcement to protect innocent citizens. Starting tonight, there will be no safe harbor for violent criminals in D.C. President Trump is committed to making our nation's capital safer for its residents, lawmakers, and visitors from all around the world. Well, let's go out now to the streets of D.C. Fox 5 D.C. reporter Josh Rosenthal. He joins me. Josh, good to see you here. This is just breaking in the last few minutes here, isn't it? What is this enhanced presence going to look like here?
Oh, well, Andrew, thank you for having me. I'll put it to you like this. We're in the Foggy Bottom neighborhood of D.C. This is right on the edge of George Washington University's campus. Typically, busy place like this, you would see D.C. police, maybe GW police right across the street over there, Metro stop. You'd probably see Metro Transit police. Now, though, it appears as though we're going to be seeing an even larger law enforcement presence beginning at midnight.
So the only people upset about this are the Democrats on TV. And when the residents of Washington, D.C. hear that there is no safe harbor for violent criminals, that's the message. Starting at midnight, federal officers in marked units will patrol tourist areas and crime hotspots. Not for a day, not for a weekend, for a minimum of 7 days and probably longer, knowing Trump. And here's what the media won't tell you. Local NBC inadvertently revealed the massive scope of this operation while trying to downplay it. Watch this clip closely. Really watch it. Take a look.
President Trump, it's not a secret how he feels about violence in the city, and it's resulted in this. We are outside of Union Station this morning because the White House says you can now expect to see more police presence in touristy areas of D.C. In fact, there were several things announced by the White House yesterday. Check it out. For the next 7 days, and potentially longer than that, you can expect to see federal officers in marked units patrolling what the Trump administration is calling high-traffic tourist areas and other hotspots. We are not sure exactly what those hotspots are. The increase in law enforcement presence is supposed to start each night at midnight. We are talking quite a few agencies here, guys, just to name a few of them. Metro Transit Police, Amtrak Police, U.S. Capitol Police, the DEA, and the FBI. Look here, the ATF Washington office, that's the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. They posted this picture just before 2 a.m. this morning, showing them apparently pulling over a car along Georgia Avenue. Tony Millette, this is obviously not the first time that we have heard the president talk about Washington, D.C. as a city. By now you know he has threatened to take over Washington, D.C. And as we wait to see what happens there, one thing is for sure, you will definitely see an increased police presence for at least the next 7 days, guys.
So normally when you hear the all-of-government approach, you guys don't normally think that it's Metro Transit Police, the Amtrak Police, U.S. Capitol Police, DEA, FBI, all of them working together. But under the Trump admin, that's what you get. You get everybody working to protect people. And that ATF photo at 2 a.m., they're already making arrests. This isn't theater. This is a coordinated federal response to a city that local Democrats let spiral out of control. But not everybody is opposing this. Former Ward 5 Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Kathy Henderson, a black woman from Northeast D.C., just destroyed the narrative that this is about politics. And listen to her truth bomb. Guys, take a look.
This isn't a partisan issue. This is a public safety issue.
Former Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Kathy Henderson welcomes extra law enforcement in her neighborhood, which includes Benning Road Northeast. It has struggled with a resurgence in drug and violence problems in recent years. She says she supports the request that U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro made to the D.C. Council today. Pirro asks them to reconsider 3 laws dealing with young offenders: the Second Chance Amendment, the Incarceration Reduction Amendment, which is coupled with the Second Look Act, and the Youth Rehabilitation Act, in order to toughen penalties on people under 25 who commit violent crimes.
We have an individual that committed a murder when he was 16. Because of the legislation, he was given a sentencing reduction. So he was allowed early release. This person whom we wrote a community impact statement for, and we submitted it recently to the court, he committed another homicide.
And guys, she said it. This isn't partisan. This is public safety. A 16-year-old murderer got early release and killed again. That's the reality of DC's soft on crime policies. And the same soft on crime policies everywhere in the country where Democrats hold power. This is why federal intervention is necessary. And Stephen Miller did not mince words on why this is happening. His comparison will shock you, but the data, it backs it up. Check this out.
The president has been very clear that he's going to take the action necessary to secure the city of Washington for the people who live here, for all the American people and all who visit here. It's our capital city. It is more violent than Baghdad. It is more violent than parts of Ethiopia, parts of many of the most dangerous places in the world. It's really shocking if you actually look at the graph that has been shown comparing parts of some of the most dangerous failed states in the world compared to D.C. D.C. is more violent, and so he's going to do what's necessary to make sure our nation's capital is safe for all Americans.
I want all of you to wrap your heads around this. D.C. is more violent than Baghdad. Let that sink in. Our nation's capital, where laws are made, where tourists bring their children to see democracy in action, more dangerous than a war zone. So if you guys got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this isn't about politics anymore. It's about survival. When 19-year-old Edward Kornstein gets beaten to a bloody pulp by a mob, when drive-by shootings take out Capitol Hill interns, when carjackings happen at the steps of power, we've crossed a line. The same Democrats screaming about this federal intervention are the same ones who let D.C. rot from the inside out. They prioritize criminal rights over victim rights. They chose ideology over safety. Now Trump's choosing action over excuses. For decades, politicians talked about making D.C. safe while bodies piled up. Trump's not talking, guys. He's deploying federal agents, National Guards, the full weight of constitutional authority. And here's my question for you. Should the president have waited for more innocent blood before taking control of D.C.? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments. And while you guys are fired up like I am, check out our merch shop link below. Show the world where you stand with law and order. All right. So, welcome back, guys. How you doing? You got to keep sharing this, guys. Keep sending in those comments. I saw between video clips that Robert Lockhart put up a nice comment there saying, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. Thomas Jefferson. And I show you guys my tattoos a lot. It's Jeffersonian and Ben Franklin. Just some of the smartest people are behind the country. And you've got Michael Jones, get rid of all those gun regulations and allow D.C. residents to arm themselves. The Trump admin is making a lot of headway when it comes to federal reciprocity laws. We got another comment, Redneck Newsen. Democrats need as much crime as possible to use it to get rid of the Constitution, especially the Second Amendment. Could not agree more. We're going to scroll a little bit here, checking for any super chats. All right. So, all right, Brian, did they get the trivia answer right or wrong? Oh, man. All right, the correct answer was B. Mary Todd Lincoln held seances in the White House to contact her son, who unfortunately died from typhoid fever he contracted in the White House. Seances were probably being used by the Democrats to find the criminals in D.C., and that's why they never arrest anyone. All right. So the question for topic 2 is, what did the 1850 census ask that made everyone paranoid? This is a good one. Was it A, are you a vampire? Was it B, are you insane? Was it C, can you do the Macarena? Or was it D, is your spouse attractive? Let us know your answers in the comments or hit the poll with the buttons and let's see what's going on. Who's going to get it right? They've been playing this game for decades, padding their numbers, stealing representation, and gaming the system. This is Tom McCullough back in the Next News Network studio while Gary travels to honor a true patriot, Ron Paul's 90th birthday celebration this Saturday. What I'm about to reveal will expose the biggest political fraud in American history. The biggest in American history. Democrats just got caught red-handed admitting why they really want illegal immigrants. And let me guess, it's not for compassion, it's not for diversity, it's for pure political power. Do we expect anything less? The president just dropped a bomb that could wipe out 30 Democrat congressional seats overnight. They're panicking because their dirty secret is out. But the numbers don't lie. Democrats sure do. And here's the proof. So political power shouldn't be based on illegal populations any more than your health should depend on declining collagen. And as we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to visible signs of aging like wrinkles, sagging skin, crow's feet, and smile lines. By the time we reach our 40s, our collagen levels have significantly decreased, dropping another 1% each year afterward. Collagen makes up a third of our skin's protein, giving it structure and strength. So replenishing it is crucial. Just as Trump is restoring legitimate representation by counting only citizens, you can restore your skin's foundation with the right collagen supplement. Every order feeds a hungry child through NoKidHungry.org, spreading peace through nutrition. Non-GMO, hormone-free, with a 60-day guarantee. Just like Trump's creating global stability, create your own confidence. Get 51% off at healthwithgary.com today. So now let's expose the census scam that's been stealing American representation for decades. Literally stealing it, everyone. Stealing it. President Trump just ordered a new census that counts only U.S. citizens, and Democrats are in full meltdown mode because they know what's coming. They know they're about to lose power. And watch Scott Jennings reveal exactly why Democrats are losing their collective minds over this citizen-only census order. This clip exposes the political calculation behind their panic. Take a look.
Reapportion everything right now? What's he doing? Well, he certainly wants to do the census in a way that doesn't count illegal aliens as part of the overall population for the purpose of determining congressional districts and federal funding. And I think he's going to have a lot of popular support for it. Now, I know there's a process they have to go through, and it would take a long time to do a census, but there is a widespread belief that Democrats want to keep the system in place that they have because it advantages them. I know that that's what they believe because a Democratic congresswoman from New York, Clark, the other day said out loud, I want more migrants in my district for redistricting purposes. And so it's a political strategy of the Democrats. And I think the president's saying to the American people, why are we counting illegal aliens, unauthorized residents in this country when it comes to apportioning our political leadership?
It's because it's in the Constitution, the United States Constitution. The Supreme Court ruled on this in 2019, and they ruled against Trump 5-4. It's in the Constitution. I have a big problem with this, regardless of whether it's gerrymandering, which both parties do, or this attempt at changing the way we count the number of living residents in the United States, because it's all about cheating. It's all about rigging the system in a way that gives one party an advantage. Family members in my household who are undocumented and the census person shows up to take a count, I'm not opening the door. So the census is going to be real messed up if the Supreme Court, which I don't know how the Supreme Court's going to rule. You're right. It's a very conservative Supreme Court.
Is messed up now.
Well, is it messed up? I mean, they're counting people who live in the United States.
There's no doubt that
conservatives don't like that it counts undocumented.
They can't vote, but it determines who gets to serve.
Every census
in history up until this point.
That's for sure.
No, it also determines who's in Congress, and it might mean 20 to 30 seats. That's why Democrats are in the middle of a high-speed come-apart right now. It's 20 to 30
Well, Texas and Florida better be real careful because they're under the assumption that they don't have a bunch of undocumented immigrants residing in those red states.
I mean, I guess it's okay for CNN to tell people to break federal law. And it's always the liberal white women that do this stuff. The Democrats stand to lose 20 to 30 seats. And that's what Democrats are going to lose when we stop counting people who have no legal right to be here. Texas and Florida better watch out, too. They've got plenty of illegals inflating their numbers. Sorry about that. But the real bombshell came when a Democrat congresswoman accidentally told the truth. They let it slip, guys. And here's Democrat Congresswoman Yvette Clarke admitting exactly why she wants illegal immigrants in her district. This is the smoking gun they never wanted you to see. Take a look.
I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
What utter trash. She's like, I need more migrants in my district for redistricting purposes. It's not for humanitarian reasons. It's not to help families. It's for pure political power. She just admitted Democrats use illegal immigrants as pawns to steal representation from American citizens. And Stephen Miller went nuclear on Fox, exposing how Democrats rigged the 2020 census. And watch him break down the massive fraud that's about to cost them dearly. Check this out.
Illinois, Chicago, New York, Massachusetts. Democrats have gerrymandered the vote beyond recognition to try to maintain their advantage in the House elections. On top of that, let's not forget, Democrats rigged the 2020 census by including illegal aliens. Remember, they sued Donald Trump. They sued the administration. They fought tooth and nail to include illegal aliens in the census. 20 to 30 of House Democrat seats wouldn't exist but for illegal aliens. Texas is taking just a small corrective step against this ocean of fraud, this ocean of abuse by the corrupt Democrat Party, Sean.
And that's Illinois, Chicago, New York, Massachusetts, all gerrymandered beyond recognition. And that's 20 to 30 Democrat House seats exist only because they counted illegal aliens. And that's not representation. That's theft, everybody. Scott Jennings dropped more truth bombs about why Democrats desperately need illegals counted. And pay attention to how he connects the dots between immigration policy and political power. Take a look.
President Trump has ordered a new census that does not count illegal aliens. I'm sure there'll be litigation here, but if you stopped counting people who aren't supposed to be here, well, it changes the math on congressional apportionment and redistricting. It would likely advantage the Republican Party. Here's Democratic Congresswoman Yvette Clarke of New York openly admitting why she wants more illegal immigrants to be counted in her district.
And from Brooklyn, New York, we have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
I need more members in my district for redistricting purposes. That was a Democratic Congresswoman. Here's White House senior advisor Stephen Miller appearing on Fox News last night commenting on this.
Democrats rigged the 2020 census by including illegal aliens. Remember, they sued Donald Trump. They sued the administration. They fought tooth and nail to include illegal aliens in the census. 20 to 30 of House Democrat seats wouldn't exist but for illegal aliens. Texas is taking just a small corrective step against this ocean of fraud, this ocean of abuse by the corrupt Democrat Party, Sean.
Stephen Miller from the White House commenting on the census and redistricting and what's going on in Texas and around the country. Now, the census is handled by the U.S. Commerce Department. Watch the Democratic freakout over this today, and that'll tell you all you need to know.
He is absolutely right. The freakout tells you everything. Democrats know their power structure collapses without padding the census with non-citizens. The Supreme Court may have ruled 5-4 against Trump in 2019, but that was before America saw the border invasion Biden orchestrated. And Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is pushing legislation to fix this fraud once and for all. She's calling out the weaponized 2020 census and demanding accountability. Take a look.
Santos, you've described yourself as a scientist today. Isn't it important to be accurate in your science, so to speak, and in counting? Also, there's an actual law, Sentencing Reform Act of 1984, that really is your job to fine people $5,000 for refusing to answer questions on the census. Was this a law that you enforced? Did you enforce this law in states that were overcounted and states that were undercounted after the census?
Yeah, we are a statistical agency, not an enforcement agency, so we've never enforced that.
So no one was fined. So there were overcounts, there were undercounts, and no one was fined according to the law. And the numbers shook out and were accepted. Many of my colleagues have brought up the fact that Article 1 of the Constitution requires a census every 10 years to determine how many congressional seats and electoral votes states receive. This is incredibly important. In Congress, with close party margins, this apportionment can be the difference between being in the majority and being in the minority. In tight presidential elections, thankfully this one wasn't tight at all. President Trump overwhelmingly won. But it can determine the winner, these apportionments can. In other words, the census is more than a mere survey of the demographics of the citizenry. It directly affects election integrity.
And I want to put that into perspective. So every congressional seat represents about 767 or 780,000 people. So when you've got 20 million illegal immigrants in this country, you're looking at, 50, 60, 70 seats or more. And that census accuracy determines congressional seats and electoral votes. In tight elections, this manipulation can determine who controls Congress and the White House. It's election fraud hiding in plain sight. The 5 on Fox broke down just how badly Democrats have rigged the system. In California, Republicans get 40% of the vote, but only 17% of the seats. In Massachusetts, Republicans get 35% of the votes, but 0 seats. Take a look.
Gerrymander the bejesus out of these maps and just destroy Democrat representation where we can. Yeah. And it's just, we're in a war now. We're in a war. Rules, right? They screwed around, and now they're about to find out.
They wrote the rules. Their rules, right? California Republicans have 40% of the vote share, and yet they have only 17% of the congressional seats. I think in Massachusetts, it's 35% of statewide vote. They have 0 seats in Massachusetts. Maryland,
they can't win.
Maryland is very similar in terms of those numbers, but of course, congressional districting also comes down to the census, which did not count properly in the last census, and also counts illegal immigrants for representation in Washington, even though they legally cannot vote. So I say that they should redo the census, get an accurate vote, and not count illegal immigrants for accurate representation of American voters in every state throughout the country.
Oh, is that why Democrats like the migrants? Because it helps them reapportion their votes?
It does make you wonder why they're being so hyperbolic about the situation right now. I mean,
for all those wondering, they're absolutely correct. They wrote the rules to maintain power through illegal immigration. Count the illegals, steal the seats, destroy fair representation. But Trump just flipped their game board. If you got value from this report, guys, tap subscribe. My final thoughts are next. Whew. We can't say this enough. This was the biggest political heist in American history. And for decades, Democrats have been stealing congressional seats by counting people who can't legally vote. They've turned the census into a weapon against actual Americans. California, New York, Illinois, these states have been hoarding power through illegal immigration while your voice gets diluted. Every illegal alien counts and steals representation from a legal citizen somewhere else. It's taxation without representation in reverse. Now, Trump's exposing the scam, and Democrats are terrified. They know their house of cards collapses when we count only Americans. 30 seats gone. Political dominance shattered. And all of that, it's good. This is about the fundamental question of who America belongs to. It's citizens or whoever manages to sneak across the border. So here's my question. Should your congressional representation be determined by how many illegals your state harbors? Yes or no? I know my answer, but drop your answer below and grab some patriotic gear from our merch shop while you're at it. Oh, man, those guys are crazy. It's like back in the 90s, everybody's like, why are we doing this open borders thing? Why didn't anybody care about it? It's because they knew back in the 80s that all the clean sweeps the Republicans were having, they knew they would never have power again. So they started flooding the borders with this and trying to ruin things. It's so disheartening. So we had a comment from the one and only Ron the Don. It says, Tom, want to let you know that you have a nice shirt. Thank you. I like this shirt. And I've been asking Gary to let me wear one for a while, so I just did it today. We've got, where to go? I just had a good one, too. Let's go next. All right, so we got Wyatt Earp on here. Says, howdy, Robert. And more yeps from Kenny. Boyd, got it right. Yeah, the good job on the last trivia question. We got John Patrick Smith. As a Brit, it's difficult for me to comment, but I think USA citizens have now had enough. We've all had enough. We've had enough for a long time. And it's kind of shocking that over in England, you guys aren't doing more over here. We have another quote from Robert Lockhart. It says, always stand on principle, even if you stand alone. That is absolutely correct. So we're going to jump into the response and how you guys answered. Did they get the question right or wrong, Bri? Hey. The chat is 1 for 1 tonight. The answer was B. Are you insane? The 1850 census literally asked if people were idiotic or insane, and the government has apparently always been nosy. All right, we're pulling up the trivia question that's coming up for the next segment here. It's about our old friend Tish out of New York. So the question is, which New York Attorney General got busted running a prostitution ring while prosecuting others? Was it A, Elliot Spitzer, B, Andrew Cuomo, was it C, Rudy Giuliani, or D, Bruce Wayne? Let us know your answers in the comments or hit the poll questions. So the hunter just became the hunted. The woman who made her career targeting Trump is now in the crosshairs herself, and the irony is wonderful. Tom McCullough here, White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I'm here again holding down the fort while Gary prepares to broadcast live from Ron Paul's milestone 90th birthday bash this Saturday. So, as they say, what goes around comes around, and Letitia James is about to learn that lesson the hard way. I think she's in the FO portion of the FA. So, federal prosecutors just launched a grand jury investigation into New York's Attorney General. That's the same woman who campaigned on getting Trump, is now facing her own federal probe. Subpoenas are flying, the DOJ is digging, and the woman who weaponized her office for political persecution might be heading for a perp walk of her own. And justice does indeed have a sense of humor. So if you're getting close to retirement or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing. You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. And that's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings. And one company that makes it easy, Noble Gold Investments. You can buy gold or silver, coins or bars, and have them shipped to your home or stored securely. It's a smart way to convert cash into something that actually holds value. Noble Gold is fair, transparent, and they don't pressure you, just solid information and real options. So visit nextnewsgold.com today and get started. All right, I've been waiting for this story. Now to the investigation that Democrats have that has Democrats' absolute panic. Fox News broke the story wide open with exclusive details about the federal probe into Letitia James. Watch how quickly the establishment media tries to protect their attack dog. Check this out.
Some breaking news sources are telling us that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her office are under investigation by the Department of Justice in relation to her case against President Trump. Justice correspondent David Spunt is in Washington. What do you know, David?
Well, hi, Dana. Two well-placed sources familiar with the probe tell Fox News that New York Attorney General Letitia James and her office is under investigation by the DOJ here in Washington. We're told that Attorney General Pam Bondi signed off on the probe. Subpoenas were sent to James's office, and there is a grand jury investigation underway in the New York State capital of Albany. The specific investigation, my colleague Jake Gibson, Ashley Oliver, and myself are being told involves deprivation of rights, which in plain language means someone in a position of legal authority violating someone else's constitutional or legal rights. Those sources tell Fox News the DOJ is going after James because she took then former President Donald Trump to court, quote, simply because she didn't like him and campaigned on getting him. DOJ, led by Bondi, believes she violated his First Amendment rights dealing with free speech. James has said before she believed Trump inflated his net worth to get good deals on loans from lenders and other financial benefits. Ms. James won in a court judgment of over $450 million against the Trump Organization. Trump is appealing, and it's pending. The entire scope of the grand jury probe in Albany, Dana, is unclear. Grand juries are secretive, but we've learned from these well-placed sources it stems from a recent strike force set up inside the Justice Department to investigate an alleged plot to tie Trump to Russia in 2016. Sources say that strike force has expanded to other topics. Now, to recap, The Justice Department has initiated grand jury proceedings in Albany, New York, against the Empire State Attorney General Letitia James. But remember, this is important. A grand jury simply decides if there's enough evidence to indict. To be clear, we are told this is very early in the process, and no one, as I speak to you right now, is facing any charges at this time. Fox News reached out to Attorney General James's office multiple times, but we've yet to hear back.
So we want to make one thing clear. Attorney General Pam Bondi signed off on this probe. A grand jury in Albany, sorry about that, not Manhattan, where James operates, is investigating whether she violated Trump's constitutional rights by targeting him simply because she didn't like him. She's campaigned on that. She said the whole time, I'm going to get rid of Trump. It's my job to get rid of Trump. And the DOJ believes she violated his First Amendment rights. Words alone cannot describe how huge this is. And as Trump would say, this is huge. MSNBC tried to spin this as Trump's revenge, but their own expert accidentally revealed just how unprecedented this investigation really is. And we're going to just watch him squirm right here. Take a look.
Just into NBC News, the Justice Department is currently investigating the New York Attorney General's office. The focus is the successful $300 million civil fraud case against Donald Trump and his businesses, as well as the case New York AG Letitia James brought against the NRA. Now, James emerged as one of Trump's most outspoken political rivals after he left office in 2021. So let's get more on all this from NBC's David Rode, and back with us, former New York Assistant Attorney General Adam Pollack. David, refresh our memory of these cases specifically. Explain what the DOJ is looking at here.
So I just want to shout out first our colleagues, Tom Winter and Ryan Riley and John Dietz, who broke the story for us, and I work closely with them. So this is a long-running legal battle that very much frustrated President Trump. The New York Attorney General, Letitia James, basically accused him of inflating or decreasing the value of his assets to cheat on his taxes, to make more money on certain kind of businesses. And that case was successful. A civil court judge in New York City ordered Trump to pay a fine of $300 million roughly. And that deeply frustrated President Trump. There was a separate case that has been brought up about the NRA. That was Letitia James suing the NRA, saying that it had violated New York state law by making, misleading statements about its practices.
Oh, come on. David Rode can't hide the truth. James went after Trump with a vengeance, securing a $300 million judgment that deeply frustrated the president. Oh, he was angry. I don't think he was frustrated, man. He was furious. But frustration isn't why she's under investigation. It's the weaponization of her office for political gain. And Adam Pollack, former New York Assistant Attorney General, just destroyed any pretense that this is normal. His assessment should terrify every corrupt prosecutor in America. And I hope it does. Take a look.
The fact that the federal attorney based in Albany, New York, is now investigating Letitia James herself is fits a pattern of the recent cases that have come out. Pam Bondi has just also, we don't know where it is, but has a separate grand jury looking into the claims of President Obama engaging in a treasonous conspiracy against Trump that relates to Tulsi Gabbard's statements as the intelligence director. So multiple cases, but clearly the Trump administration fighting back legally with the Justice Department as its tool against its enemies.
Adam, let's just take this by itself. Is it unusual for the DOJ to open an investigation into a state case, or a couple of them that have already been litigated and resulted in jury verdicts?
This is unbelievably unusual. This is effectively unprecedented, and it's telling that this investigation about two cases that happened here in Manhattan is not being handled by the SDNY, the premier office for federal investigation. It's being handled in Albany, where there's a prosecutor chosen as the appointed interim U.S. attorney who hasn't gotten Senate consent. In fact, after his 120 days as interim U.S. attorney, the judges there in Albany rejected him, prohibited him from staying on, and yet he's still there. He has no prosecutorial experience, and yet he's driving this unbelievably politicized investigation.
Unbelievably unusual, effectively unprecedented. And noticed, this isn't being handled by the Southern District of New York, the premier federal prosecutor's office. It's being run out of Albany by an interim U.S. attorney the judges already rejected. And you might be wondering, why is this? Because the Southern District of New York is compromised by the same swamp that protected James. They're all in on it. ABC News revealed the scope of the subpoenas. And this isn't just about Trump. It's about a pattern of politically motivated prosecutions. Take a look.
And we have breaking news. Federal prosecutors have issued subpoenas to New York Attorney General Letitia James. Sources tell ABC News the subpoenas are related to her office's civil fraud case against President Trump and a corruption case against the National Rifle Association. The Department of Justice declined to comment. Now James's attorneys calling it a dangerous escalation and part of a political retribution campaign by the president. Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky is here with more on that. Aaron, what do we know so far?
We know these subpoenas were issued by the Northern District of New York. This is in Albany, and they were issued to the Attorney General's office seeking information about two of her cases. The one you mentioned, Diane, the civil fraud case against President Trump that resulted in a $500 million judgment that he is still appealing. The other case involves the office's lawsuit against the National Rifle Association that forced former head Wayne LaPierre to cough up more than $4 million after James alleged corruption and misappropriation of funds. The two cases were successful. Now federal prosecutors, we're told, are subpoenaing for information to see whether James, in the course of those cases, violated the civil rights of either the president or the NRA.
It's kind of curious that the Democrats hate two things more than anything else in this country, the NRA and Trump. And those two major cases are under scrutiny. The Trump civil fraud case and the NRA corruption case. Both resulted in massive judgments. Both targeted conservative figures and groups. Federal prosecutors are examining whether James violated civil rights laws by using her office as a political weapon. I mean, come on. Honestly, she said she was going to do it the whole time. If somebody's telling you they're going to do something and then they do it, where are we to say that that didn't happen? And we have a flashback that shows karma in action. A Trump attorney warned exactly what would happen to prosecutors who abuse their power. And this prediction aged like fine wine, guys. Take a look.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
That's hilarious. We will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And that wasn't a threat. It was a promise. And now the Justice Department is making good on it. Grand jury subpoenas are just the beginning. And James campaigned on getting Trump. She turned the Attorney General's office into a partisan hit squad. She thought she was untouchable because she had Joe Biden and Kamala Harris running cover for her. But when you weaponize a justice system for political ends, eventually real justice comes calling. The Northern District of New York is building their case methodically. That means no leaks, no grandstanding, just grinding the investigative work that could end with James in handcuffs. And her attorney calls it dangerous escalation and political retribution. And that's rich, coming from the same woman who made her career on political retribution. She escalated this first. Now she's learning what counter escalation looks like. So if you got value from this report, tap subscribe down below. My final thought is next. So Letitia James thought she was untouchable. She campaigned on destroying Trump, weaponized her office for political vendettas, and celebrated while extracting hundreds of millions of dollars in judgments. But here's what every tin pot prosecutor needs to understand. When you corrupt justice for politics, justice eventually comes for you. This federal probe isn't revenge, it's accountability. James violated the most sacred principle of American law, equal justice under law. She turned the Attorney General's office into a political weapon. She was targeting people based on their beliefs, not their crimes. Now she's facing conspiracy against rights charges that could land her in federal prison. Please do. Every corrupt prosecutor watching this should be sweating. The message is clear. Abuse your power, face the consequences. No more immunity for political persecution disguised as prosecution. So here's my question. Should prosecutors who campaign on getting political opponents face federal charges? Yes or no? So sound off below and check out our merch shop to show where you stand on equal justice. Oh, I love seeing these scumbags go to jail and like finally get called out on their corruption. All these years, we're sitting here watching these people do these things every single day. Like how are they getting away with this? It's because, nobody was home at the White House. Biden was completely absent. So we had a comment from Frank Bailey, says, "You're getting better, Tom. It must be the shirt." Probably is. And then we had John Patrick Smith say, "Whatever happened to De Niro? He's quiet as a mouse." So, John, you have to be this tall normally to speak at the podium, and I don't think they had high enough platform heels for him. What else we got here? We've got we got Sparky's run. Pam Bondi is 60 and she is nowhere near retirement and kicks butt. I agree. She's doing a good job. I wish she would do more on the Epstein stuff, though, instead of feed the world a bunch of garbage. Let me know what you guys think about that. Am I wrong? James, they won't give her prison time, but she will be severely fined and disbarred. She better get prison time. It's pretty clear what she was doing. I can't read that one. Another one from John. We're going to go to Frank Bailey. A grand jury digs deep. Watch what they find. We're kind of hoping that they get all this corruption out of the way. And it's so awesome seeing this. We're only 6 months into the Trump administration, guys. 7 months. We've still got 3 years and 3.5 years to go, and I think he's just getting started. We say Gary Hastings, Yvette should be fired. I agree. And Frank Bailey, whistleblowers will start coming forward. Just watch. I really hope they do. Jasmine Crockett has some whistleblowers come out, and hopefully we're going to get to those a little bit later. She's calling some crazy stuff. And somebody said that's not Gary. Hang on. All right, Dave Wallenberg said that is not Gary. I am most clearly not Gary Franchi. Gary is driving down to Texas right now. He's going to be a special guest and speaker at Ron Paul's 90th birthday party. We've all been huge Ron Paul fans forever, and Ron Paul is one of the truest American patriots that is living today. So we can't say enough good things about Ron Paul. All right, so we're going to get to the answer, Bride. Did they get it right or wrong? Hey, all right. So the answer was A. Elliot Spitzer, client 9, prosecuted prostitution rings while secretly spending $80,000 on call girls. He is one of the ultimate hypocrite Hall of Famers that are out there. So we're going to move into topic 4, which is the illegal immigration surge. And a trivia question for that is, which president's wife illegally brought her parents to America through chain migration? Was it A, Melania Trump, B, Michelle Obama, C, Hillary Clinton, or D, Martha Washington? Let me know your thoughts in the comments or the answers to the poll. We'll check it out after the segment. All right. The Pentagon is drawing up battle plans. The cartels just became military targets, and 80,000 patriots are lining up to join the fight. This is Tom McCullough, White House correspondent for the Next News Network here. I'm manning the desk while Gary races to Ron Paul's 90th birthday. We will be streaming that live tomorrow, Saturday. This is going to be a fun one. This is my number one issue. Every time I go to the White House, every time Gary goes, we always ask Caroline and anybody who's there, are we going to do anything with these cartels? And what you are witnessing is unprecedented. Never happened in American history. The President Trump just authorized direct military action against drug cartels on foreign soil. That means Navy operations at sea, ground operations in Latin America. These terrorists are about to learn what American firepower really means. And meanwhile, ICE recruitment exploded. 80,000 applications for 10,000 positions. Border walls rising 30 feet high. Sanctuary cities losing millions in federal aid while handing out cash to illegals. This isn't policy change. It's the largest domestic security operation in American history. So stay with us as we show you how amazing this really is. So excited. So when invaders flood across our border, they age our nation's soul. Just like your body loses collagen and shows signs of aging, illegal immigration weakens America's foundation. But there's a solution for both. While 80,000 patriots join ICE to restore order and 30-foot walls rise to protect our sovereignty, you can restore your skin's strength with ageless multi-collagen. 5 types of collagen from 4 premium sources perfectly blended for maximum absorption. No clumping, no odor, just results that strengthen and restore. So order today at healthwithgary.com for 51% off. Oh, I am so excited for this segment. Oh, we want this. So let's start with a massive show of force from patriots across America. Secretary Kristi Noem just revealed the overwhelming response to ISIS's recruitment drive. Watch her announce these staggering numbers while standing next to enough fentanyl to kill millions of people. Take a look.
I want you to look at the contraband that's in front of me. We have 20 kilograms of fentanyl that's in front of me on this table. That's enough to kill 10 million people. And here out of this office, this was interdicted just days ago here in Illinois. And because these federal officers have been out on the streets picking up criminals and dangerous individuals, we were able to take this 20 kilograms of fentanyl off the streets and save over 10 million lives. They're also keeping these weapons out of the hands of criminals that would use it to rob and assault and to murder individuals in these communities. Unfortunately, all of the politicians that have spoken out against their efforts, their desire appears to be that they would like to have more of this on their streets. More drugs out there for their kids and families to be victimized. More guns out there committing crimes. That is not the work that we do in ICE. The work that we do is to protect people and make sure that we remove these weapons and drugs off of our streets and hold those criminals accountable who would go forward and continue to use that to harm individuals.
So you got the buffet princess, J.B. Pritzker, running around right now telling everybody how unfair it is to get rid of the illegal immigrants. And there's literally 20 kilograms of fentanyl seized in Illinois, and that's enough to kill 10 million people. And J.B. Pritzker doesn't care. He wants that to stay. And that's what federal officers just pulled off Illinois streets. And 80,000 Americans want to join the fight to stop this poison from reaching our kids. The overwhelming response proves what we know all along. Americans are ready to take their country back. I am. How about you guys? So now look at what's happening at our southern border. The wall construction Biden tried to kill is roaring back to life. And the transformation is stunning. Take a look.
New border wall is going up in Mission, Texas. This comes after the Trump administration plans to build $46 billion worth of new border barrier, money that was passed by Congress recently in the budget bill. Crews hoisted and hammered in place extension bollards in this section of border wall near the Chimney RV Park. It's an area that has flip-flopped with border barrier design over the past 3 administrations. The segment behind me was actually started during the first Trump administration. The land was cleared, concrete was poured, and it was ready for bollards. But then the Biden administration came in and put shorter bollards only to prevent flooding, they said. Now the Trump administration is reinforcing those short 6-foot bollards with taller bollards to make sure there is 30 feet of wall along this area.
So from 6-foot barriers to 30-foot walls, and that's the difference between Biden's surrender and Trump's strength. $46 billion approved by Congress to finish what should have never been stopped. Every foot of new wall is a middle finger to the cartels and the politicians who enabled them. They didn't want the wall going up. They wanted more congressional votes. But while we're securing the border, sanctuary states are literally paying illegals to invade. And Massachusetts just got exposed for insane government handout program in American history. Take a look at this.
The Massachusetts GOP is criticizing Governor Maura Healey over a new report that shows shifting shelter costs to the state's home-based program. The program provides rental assistance to migrant families. According to the report, Massachusetts is on pace to spend $97 million on the home-based program in the current fiscal year. The state spent approximately $9.5 million on housing at-risk families. Massachusetts Republican Party Chair Amy Carnevale released a statement following the release of the report, saying in part, quote, "As much as Maura Healey would like the public to think that she's improving the system, the data tells a different story."
For every person out there trying to get a job and trying to help your family out, $30,000 per year in taxpayer handouts to people who shouldn't be in this country anyways. And that's $4,000 per month in EBT cash. That's free phones, free cable, free healthcare. I would love that. Massachusetts is basically running a recruitment program for illegal immigration while Americans' veterans sleep on the streets. It's so frustrating. But former ICE Director Tom Homan just destroyed the media narrative about who's getting deported. And listen to him expose the truth about Biden's catch and release disaster. This is going to be awesome. Take a look.
Man, how times have changed on the Biden administration. ICE wasn't even allowed to arrest an illegal alien. Yeah, Secretary Mayorkas told ICE, you can't arrest somebody for being here illegally. They got to be convicted of a serious crime before you even target them for arrest. And now the left is losing their mind that everybody we arrest, I look at the data every morning, Sean, 70% of everybody we arrest is a criminal. The other 30%, national security threats, final orders, people had due process, a great taxpayer expenditure order removed by judge, by law, we got to remove them. So the numbers are great, right? But now the left is saying they're not criminal enough. I saw a story the other day. Only 1% of deportees are murderers. Really? That is a new level. And another story says, well, a lot of them are DUIs. DUI is a public safety threat where 10,000 people a year die from DUI. So now the story is the 70% criminals aren't criminal enough. We removed a record number of public safety threats and national security threats under the Trump administration. He's keeping his promise to American people. We're making this country safer every day.
Wrap your head around that. The Democrats are saying that DUIs aren't criminal enough. People died. I was hit by a drunk driver one time, and I still have lifelong injuries from that. I'm pretty sure that's criminal enough, guys. But 70% criminals. The other 30% are national security threats and deportation order violations. But now the left complains they're not criminal enough. Only 1% are murderers. Oh, my goodness. Since when is that not enough? DUIs kill tens of thousands of Americans yearly, but Democrats want them protected because they want their congressional votes. And watch what happens when Scott Jennings confronted Anna Kasparian about Democrats calling ICE agents Gestapo. And she actually proved his point while she was denying it. Take a look.
I will just say Republicans right now are trying to recruit and give bonuses to people who want to serve in ICE. And Democrats right now and people on the left are encouraging violence against people who want to serve in ICE.
They are?
And are putting them in harm's way every day.
How
so
exactly?
The two parties and how they're treating ICE agents right now, I think Republicans embracing recruitment of ICE and Democrats encouraging maybe violence.
So we're just going to make a declarative
Terrible.
Statement like that without providing a single shred of evidence.
You have not seen the myriad stories of ICE agents?
Okay,
Democrats every day are calling them the Gestapo.
No.
Do you think that helps or hurts?
Well, they do act like Gestapo when
Now
they're
you're doing
showing
it.
up.
Now you're
Yeah,
doing
well,
it.
they are.
I
If they're just showing up
assume you condone the violence.
Penske trucks
Do you condone the
at
violence?
Home Depot. Listen, I don't want my tax dollars going to that garbage, okay? Those people do not deserve to be treated that way simply because they might be undocumented.
Do the ICE agents deserve to be having violent acts committed, rocks thrown at them?
No, they
people
don't.
Trying to
they don't.
Kill
and
them?
those people who do that get arrested, and they should be arrested.
And why don't they doing that? Because they've been told the ICE agents are Gestapo.
Have you considered the fact that in a city like Los Angeles that has a massive immigrant community, when they see their mothers or fathers or family members rounded up, that leads to a lot of rage and they retaliate? I'm not saying they should. That is criminal. They should not assault a police officer. Let me just tell you something. Someone messes with my family, I get violent. Okay, that's how I feel about family.
Good to know.
I protect family. So don't be surprised when people feel angry when they feel that there's a bunch of feds in their city invading their city,
There's a violent streak in
going
the country
after
right
people
now
who are just day laborers that are Home Depot parking lot.
That's dangerous talk.
It leads to unrest. It leads to a ton of unrest.
No, it's more than that. They are physically attacking.
And by the way, it is
there's an
interesting.
800% increase in attacks on ICE agents.
She's like the ultimate Karen boss who got her liberal arts degree back in the 90s, and she's just going nuts out there. It's like what every person on the street with a TikTok app aspires to be, somebody like her, so she can be the most liberal psychopath white chick on TV trying to tear down our institutions. And she said this herself: ICE agents act like Gestapo. And when someone messes with my family, I get violent. Why is she trying to incite violence? This CNN, why aren't you guys moderating this? And that's exactly the rhetoric that's getting ICE agents attacked. Who doesn't understand this? Democrats demonize law enforcement, then act shocked when violence follows. It was mostly peaceful protesting, please. And Congressman Byron Donalds just shut down any talk of amnesty for illegal construction workers. His message is crystal clear. No exceptions, no carve-outs, and no compromise. Like the boss himself. Take a look.
Florida's got a very large number of illegal migrants working on construction in Florida. You want to carve out for them?
No carve outs. Look, with where we are in immigration,
we've really been overrun as a country, and it's happened over the last administration, the last 4 years. It's really overwhelmed every city, not just in Florida, but all across the country. And we cannot allow to have this situation continue to metastasize with these carve-outs. We have to be very firm when it comes to immigration policy in the United States. The people who came in the last 4 years under Joe Biden, they have to go home. It's just that simple. When they go home, you secure the border like President Trump has already done, and then you consistently have a secure nation. Then you can start to talk about visa reforms. And trust me, our visa system is a mess. The federal government has not actually done its job of enforcing visas over the last 30 years, which has really led to a big chunk of our problem. But you got to send people home first and foremost. Then you have to have consistent border security. Donald Trump is making sure that happens. He did it on day one, and it's going to be consistent over his presidency. We need Democrats to actually step up and do the right thing, which is to secure this nation with us, pass meaningful immigration legislation so you can have some sensible visa reforms where this issue of foreign workers is stable for the American people and not on the backs of the American people.
But if you send all the illegal farm workers home, you get them all out, you're not going to be able to pick all the crops. I mean, the farm industry will break down. I mean, do you object to a carve-out for the farm guys?
Well, let me put it to you this way. If you have plumbing in your house that doesn't work, what do? You just tape it up throughout the house? You know that's not going to work. You have to actually redo all your plumbing. And this is a problem of Washington for the last 40 years in the United States. So now you can't look at the American people and say, well, we have all these problems. You just have to deal with it. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not just. And it has not followed federal law. And you've had too many presidents on both sides of the political aisle, not Donald Trump, of course, we know where he stands on this issue, but you've had too many presidents who have abused or ignored federal immigration law and border security procedures. And now the problem is sitting in the lap of the American people. Stu, I know this is a very hardline stance, but it's the only stance we can take as a nation. We have to work through this problem constructively and then provide stability, which starts with border security first and foremost. And that's not just my stance. That is the stance of a significant majority of the American people.
And that seems like a pretty common, normal, level-headed response when we've been overrun as a country. No carve-outs means no carve-outs. The days of amnesty deals and pathway to citizenship scams are over. Every illegal has to go, whether they're picking crops or building houses. Those are American jobs. And now the biggest escalation yet. President Trump just signed orders for direct military action against the cartels. And the Pentagon is preparing for war. Yeah. Check this out.
Saying that I offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to take care of the cartels. She wants to know, is that true? Do you think I'm going to answer that question? That's why I'm asking. We'll see. I will answer it. It's true. Absolutely. Because they are horrible people that have been killing people left and right, they've made a fortune on selling drugs and destroying our people. We lost 300,000 people last year to fentanyl and drugs. They're bad news. Yeah, that's true. If Mexico wanted help with the cartels, we would be honored to go in and do it. I told her that. I would be honored to go in and do it. The cartels are trying to destroy our country. They're evil. And, we had 300,000 people die last year from fentanyl and all of that. We had millions of people brought into this country that shouldn't be here. The cartels brought them in. So if she said that I offered to do that, she's 100% right. Are you disappointed that she denied that request, that she doesn't want? Well, she's so afraid of the cartel she can't walk, so that's the reason. And I think she's a lovely woman. But the president of Mexico is a lovely woman. But she is so afraid of the cartels that she can't even think.
That is exactly what I voted for. Did you guys vote for this? I voted for this. I want to see those people go down. And what we're getting from our votes and our actions is military operations at sea and on foreign soil. The cartels are now designated terrorist organizations, and we're going after them like we went after ISIS. It didn't work out well for them. They told Trump it would take years to do it. It took him 2 weeks to get rid of those guys. And this isn't law enforcement anymore. It's warfare. So if you guys got value from this report, tap subscribe down below. My final thought is next. So this is what America First looks like in action. 80,000 patriots volunteering to defend our homeland. 30-foot walls replacing Biden's speed bumps. Military forces preparing to annihilate cartel terrorists. We're not playing defense anymore. We're on the offense. When sanctuary states hand out 30 grand to illegals, real Americans are signing up to send them home. While Democrats call our heroes Gestapo, those heroes are seizing enough fentanyl to kill entire cities. The contrast could not be clearer. One side wants open borders, free money for invaders, and protection for criminals. The other side wants walls, deportations, and dead cartels. The military operation changes everything. No more treating prisoners like businessmen. No more negotiating with terrorists. When you flood our street with fentanyl, you've declared war on America and you're killing our children. Now you will face military might. So here's my question. Should we use military force to wipe out the cartels? I'm pretty sure you guys know my answer, but tell me yes or no. Drop your answer in the comment below and gear up with our patriotic merch. All right, that is my make or break for the Trump administration, was whether or not he would actually have military intervention with the cartels. Every president has talked about doing it. They've wanted to do it for so long. But we needed to have a few things, like a secure border, operational control of the southern border, because all they have to do is run across, create acts of terrorism, and do things across the United States. And then the whole country's going to be like, oh, no, we shouldn't have done this. Why did you do this? You've caused all these problems. It's absolute garbage. So let's get over to the chats and see what's coming up here. Gary Hastings, all these open borders people ought to pack their grip and boogie on over to the nearest third world nation of their choice. I agree. A lot of people, if you see online, a lot of people are moving to different countries and they're finding out that America is 100,000 times better. And there's no reason why they shouldn't be here. It's one of the best places in the world. Sparky's Run, I agree with you. I'm not reading your comment online, but I agree. So you got Frank Bailey saying they better start canceling passports soon. Karen, we had the trivia question a little bit ago. Hopefully you popped up and saw for that. Sabrina says, I voted for that. I did too. Did the rest of you guys vote for that? So make sure you guys are sharing the chat, sharing everything out there, and inviting your friends and texting people. And we're going to get to our answer. And Brian, did they get the question right? Oh. So this might surprise you, but Melania Trump, the answer was A. Her parents became citizens through chain migration. In 2018, the same system Trump wanted to end. So unfortunately, it was A, Melania Trump. So we're going to move into topic 5. It's called Missing Democrats, and that's pretty much the national rage right now with what these guys are doing. And you have the trivia question up? Cool. So it says, in 2003, Texas Democrats fled to Oklahoma to block redistricting. What did the locals call them? A, the Chicken D's, B, the Coward Caucus, the C, the Killer D's, or D, the Oklahomies? Let us know your answer in the comments or by answering the poll. They ran like cowards in the night. They abandoned their posts and they fled their state. And now they're being hunted like fugitives. They are. My name's Tom McCullough. I'm your Next News Network White House correspondent. I'm here one more time wrapping up this week's show while Gary preps for tomorrow's festivities. He's out in Texas honoring a real Texas hero, Ron Paul, at 90. But these Texas Democrats, they're no heroes. They're on the run from the FBI. They're hiding in hotels across America. They're crying about bomb threats while collecting bribes to skip work. And Governor Abbott just issued arrest warrants. And their paychecks? They're frozen. The FBI is coordinating with other states to drag them back. And all of this is because President Trump wants fair districts and they can't win a fair fight. The manhunt is on. So if you're getting close to retirement or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing: You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings. And one company makes that easy, and that's Noble Gold Investments. You can buy gold or silver, coins or bars, and have them shipped to your home or stored securely. It's a smart way to convert cash into something that actually holds value. Noble Gold is fair, transparent, and they don't pressure you. It's just solid information and real options. Visit nextnewsgold.com today. Oh, this is a fun one. Oh, the Texas Democrats thought they could run from democracy itself and watch CBS try to spin their cowardice as heroism, only to have Representative Ann Johnson accidentally expose their entire scheme. This is a good one, so go ahead and take a look.
You know that Republicans in the state, Republicans out of the state, look at what you guys are doing and thinking you're running away from the fight. You're running away from your jobs by not being in Austin today.
Yeah, no. Abandoning your job is going to Cancun in the middle of a deadly freeze, right? Abandoning your job is cutting health care when people need access. Abandoning your job is cutting public education when we already have one of the worst education systems in the nation. What we are doing is the fundamental protection by our founding fathers in the Texas Constitution. When Donald Trump called Georgia Republicans and said, I just need you to find me 11,000 votes, they said, no, sir, that's a step too far. But when he called Texas Republicans and said, I need you to steal me 5 seats, they said, does July work for you? Well, it doesn't work for us as Texas Democrats.
I wonder who's writing this stuff for them. The lady really said, when Trump asked Texas GOP to steal 5 seats, does July work for you, sir? She just admitted it's all about seats. It's not about principles. It's not about protecting democracy. It's not about being down in Texas voting to give the flood victims relief. This is about pure political power. These cowards fled because Trump wants redistricting that reflects actual voters, not gerrymandered Democrat strongholds. Representative James Talarico went full victim mode on his hideout, claiming they're being hunted while admitting they received a bomb threat at their hotel. And watch this pathetic display of fake courage from a scumbag out there. Take a look.
Texas Republicans have issued a warrant for my arrest for breaking quorum with my House Democratic colleagues to stop Trump's redistricting power grab. Governor Abbott has even threatened to vacate my seat, to remove me from my democratically elected position as a Texas state representative. Yesterday, Trump asked his FBI director, Kash Patel, to send in federal agents to come find us. And Ken Paxton put up a tweet asking his followers to, quote, hunt us down. My colleagues and I are here in Illinois at what we thought was a safe location, but this morning, a bomb threat was called into our hotel. My colleagues and I are safe, and we have one message. We will not be deterred. Because this is bigger than us. This is bigger than any one politician or any one political party. This is about whether the people, Democrats, independents, and Republicans alike, can change their government from the bottom up, whether they can elect the candidates of their choice, whether they can hold powerful people accountable. Let me explain. Usually state legislators adjust district boundaries at the beginning of every decade to account for population changes after a new census. That's called redistricting. And my Texas Republican colleagues already did that in 2021. But now Trump is asking them to redraw the Texas maps in the middle of the decade because he wants 5 more seats, because he's worried about losing his majority in Congress in the 2026 midterms, because he's wrecking the economy, starting wars, and protecting pedophiles, because he's kicking millions of people off their health care to fund tax breaks for his billionaire friends. So he's trying to shield himself from the voters. He's trying to shield himself from accountability. But to pass these new maps, a certain number of legislators have to be on the floor of the Texas House to conduct business. That's called a quorum. My Democratic colleagues and I are not going to give them one. By attempting to redistrict in the middle of the decade, Republicans are cheating. It's like 2 football teams coming out of the locker room at halftime, and the team that's ahead says they want to change the rules in the second half to win the game. It's cheating, plain and simple. And if they're going to cheat, we're not going to play.
Oh boy, these guys, he calls it cheating to redistrict mid-decade. But Democrats have been cheating for years by counting illegals for representation. And now they're hiding in Illinois hotels crying about being held accountable. They're not heroes. They're deserters who abandoned their constituents. And how many people want to bet that those same threats that were called in were probably by people on their side to get more hype about it? The infection is spreading. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey just admitted she's harboring these fugitives. This is interstate conspiracy to obstruct government functions. Take a look.
We are welcoming and are proud to welcome members of the Texas State Legislature who are here today at the State House. We just had a meeting to listen to them, to hear from them about what it is that is happening in Texas, how wrong it is, what is happening to their constituents and to voters in Texas, and to also talk about what this means for voters around the country, including here in Massachusetts, all Americans impacted by an attempt at a power grab by Donald Trump, Governor Greg Abbott, and Attorney General Paxton.
How many people are shocked to hear that a Democrat is proud to harbor criminals fleeing lawful arrest warrants? I'm not. That's not leadership, guys. That's insurrection. One of their favorite words. Healey is actively obstructing justice and should face federal charges for aiding and abetting fugitives from justice. I think they should. Governor Greg Abbott isn't playing games. Watch him lay out exactly what's happening to these runaway Democrats. Arrest warrants, frozen pay, and potential felony bribery charges. Take a look.
Here's what we're doing. One is we have arrest warrants out for all of them. If there are some in Texas, which I understand that there may be, the Texas Department of Public Safety is searching for them. We'll find them and we'll arrest them and take them to the Texas Capitol. Those who are out of state think that they are beyond the reach of Texas law enforcement and that they may or may not be. But for one, when they come back, they're not going to go to their cozy home. They will be arrested and taken to the Capitol. But know this, it's my understanding that the FBI is going to search for these derelict Texas House members in whatever state they may be in and help identify for them and maybe work with us to bring them back. Point one. Point two is these Democrats, they have received money and benefits at their request to support them while they are gone. It is a direct violation of the Texas Constitution as well as Texas bribery laws for them to receive a benefit to skip a vote. They could be charged with second-degree felony for committing bribery in the state of Texas. Third, and it happened yesterday, I filed a petition in the Texas Supreme Court that begins the removal process of these absconding Democrat members. And the Supreme Court responded immediately last night and told the leading Democrat in this cause, his name is Gene Wu, that he has to respond to my petition by Friday, where we're going to begin the process of trying to remove these absconding Democrats from office.
So we speculated earlier this week on Next News Network that if these Democrats who are in Illinois and other states receiving contributions and campaign contributions to stay away from there, they're raising money. They're literally getting bribed to stay out of state. And that is why the FBI is involved. Texas DPS is hunting them down. When they return to Texas, and they will return, don't think that they won't. They're not going to go home. They'll go directly to the Capitol in custody. And those taking money to stay away, that's felony bribery under Texas law. The Texas House just dropped the hammer on these deserters. No more paychecks, $500 daily fines, and they must appear in person to get paid. The financial screws are tightening, and we're here to watch. Take a look.
To safeguard taxpayer dollars and account for forthcoming liabilities under Rule 5, Section 3 of House Rules, which authorizes fines for members absent without leave, 30% of each quorum-breaking member's monthly operating budget will be reserved and made unavailable for expenditure. Absent members must also appear in person to approve or enact any of the following: requests for travel reimbursement, personal action requests, including those increasing or decreasing staff salaries, approval for newsletters and House of Reproduction services. Failure to appear in person will result in the cancellation of your newsletters and the encumbered funds. We have all hands on deck. We are continuing to explore new avenues to compel a quorum, and will keep pressing forward until the job is done. Finally, today, Dr. Greg Bonin will file House Bill 3, the House's priority legislation for flood recovery and infrastructure funding. Developed after 25 hours of testimony from Texans whose lives were upended by the July 4th floods. To those in California, Illinois, New York, or Massachusetts, wherever you may be, hear this. The bill cannot be referred to committee without a quorum. Every hour you remain away is time stolen from those Texans in need. Each one of you knows that eventually you will come back.
Of course, we know that they don't care about their constituents. They want to make national. They want to get famous. They want to be TikTok famous and Instagram famous and whatever else by fleeing the state to try to stop legal proceedings and vote on flood relief. And 30% of their operating budgets are frozen. They're not getting any direct deposits. There are no travel reimbursements. They literally cannot get paid unless they show up in Texas, where arrest warrants are waiting. It's a beautiful trap, guys. Watch the moment that they officially failed to show up for the 1 p.m. deadline, and their political and careers are imploding in real time. It's beautiful to see. Take a look.
And we will pass the priorities of the special session on the call. But with each passing day, the political cost of your absence is rising, and it will be paid in full. For the members' presence, I expect everyone to be here on Monday at the absolute latest. DPS is in the field to execute these warrants. Should they lead to the civil arrest of our absent colleagues over the weekend, you are on call. You will need to be available to return to Austin with a minimum of 6 hours of notice. Members, the call of the House remains in force. Under House rules, the House may adjourn from day to day. While I will call the House to order in a pro forma session tomorrow at 11 a.m., unless you receive a call to be here tomorrow because of DPS's good work, I will provide written permission to be entered in today's journal for each member registered as present during the session to leave the chamber and return 1 p.m. Monday. Members present today do not need to return until at 1 p.m. Monday. Members present today do not need to return until Friday. Until Monday. Mr. Garrett moves the House stand adjourned until 11 a.m. Saturday. Is there any objection? Chair hears none, and the House stands adjourned.
So we all know that if Republicans did exactly what these guys are doing and fleeing the state to stop a quorum, the Democrats would have CNN, ABC, everybody out there pushing all the poor kids. They'd be cutting to scenes of the flooding that the Republicans aren't voting on. But the House Speaker of Texas said it greatly. Eventually, you will come back. And that's not a threat, guys. It is a promise. Every day they hide costs them politically and financially. Their constituents are watching them collect bribes while abandoning their duties. And breaking news confirms it. The Democrats failed to return by deadline. And now the real consequences are going to begin. Check this out.
And guys, we just have breaking news right now from inside that they do not have enough Democrats to meet that quorum. And I could tell you from talking to Republicans today, this was really no surprise. They did not expect it, although, of course, that's what they hoped for. As I mentioned, there are a lot of threats from those Republicans. So now the question is whether they are going to enforce them and what happens next in terms of any punishment for not meeting that deadline. Governor California Gavin Newsom is going to hold a press conference later today, and other California leaders are going to join him. But again, breaking news right now, not enough Democrats to meet that quorum, blocking that redistricting vote yet again, guys.
So no quorum means no protection. The FBI is coordinating with the Sergeant-at-Arms in other states to arrest them. California's Gavin Newsom plans to grandstand about it, but these fugitives are running out of places to hide. So if you guys got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. And this is what Democrats do when they can't win. They run or cheat, whichever is more, convenient for them. They abandon their posts. They flee their state and hide like cowards while crying victim. And these aren't freedom fighters. Don't let their little social media posts fool you. They are political deserters who took an oath to serve Texas and broke it the second things got tough. They're collecting money to stay away. That's literally the definition of bribery. They claim Trump is cheating by wanting fair districts, but they've been cheating for decades by padding populations with illegals. Now they're learning what accountability looks like. FBI involvement, arrest warrants, frozen bank accounts, felony charges are pending. You can't run from justice forever. Every Democrat governor harboring these fugitives is complicit in their crimes. And this isn't resistance, it's insurrection. And unlike January 6 protesters rotting in jail, these people are actually government officials actually obstructing government function. So here's my question. Should Democrats who flee their duties face felony charges? Drop your answer below and show your support with our merch. It's crazy what these guys get away with. Oh. All right, so we've got Michael Jones. We're cheating with a bunch of laughing faces. Yeah, clearly Republicans are cheating. We're only like Republicans hold our people accountable. Like if they're doing something stupid, we're going to call them out for it. If Trump does something dumb, we're going to say it because you know what? That's the only way we get better. We know that if we are being held accountable for something we say or do that's stupid, we want to hear it because we want to do better. Democrats want to just obfuscate the truth, cover it up, shove in millions of illegals, and then nobody can ever question it. They'll silence any opposition on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever they can to silence the truth. And we have good for you, Tommy. It says, bye, Felicia. What was we got here? The one and only Ron the Don. Wow, breaking news. President Trump just appointed Secretary Scott Bensing to acting IRS commissioner. I hope that's true. That would be interesting. Kib Ellis said, do your job. I'm sure that's to the Democrats. They don't like doing their work. They're only in session for a couple weeks out of the year, a couple months maybe. And they just can't be down there to do that. They just want to be famous so bad. It's so annoying. We got Maya Sue saying it's psychological projection. And it says, Gary Hastings, yeah, JP Smith, it seems like quite a few individuals would be tempted to ingest it. I'm assuming that is the garbage. Yeah, Democrats have, from Karen Finley, Democrats have been cheating in Washington state for decades. Newsflash, they've been cheating everywhere for longer than decades. All right. Any super chats today? Let's see. No super chats. No super chats at all, guys. No super chats today. Oh, we hit the wrong button there. I'm going through these guys. I'm still learning Gary's system here. So I'm popping over left and right. I'm just kind of scrolling with the mouse, reading things, looking at good comments back and forth. Karen Finley, great job tonight. Thomas, thank you. I appreciate that. And Scone Detect said, see you, Letitia. So I think he's saying bye, Felicia. What else we got here? Frank Bailey. Word is that there had been an operation conducted on the Sinaloa cartels in the mountains where the drugs were being processed. I have no doubt that if you guys have been watching X or the news over the last few months, I know we've covered it a few times on Next News. They have the signal planes like cruising over the Yucatan Peninsula, and they're over on international waters. And what they've been doing is collecting every single radio tower, because in Mexico, a lot of people don't know that the largest phone provider in Mexico is the cartels. And that's so that they can control all the cell towers and they own the communications. They know where people are at, what they're doing. And when we have these signal planes in the air, they're intercepting those messages. They're tracing those phones back to exactly where they are, and they're getting these people taken out. So I have no doubt they spent the last 6 months knowing exactly where cartel member A's favorite bakery is at. All right. So the trivia answer, did they get it right, Brian, or did they get it wrong? Oh, we have a super chat. We got Karen Finley. Keep up the goodiest work ever, Thomas. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to live up to Gary's expectations and not make any of you guys too angry at me, and which is why I wore my nice Hawaiian shirt today. So did they get the chat question right? Oh, we got one more. Hang on. Mega N3 rocks from Boyd. Thank you, Boyd. We try to do well. Oh, and you guys did not get the question right. So the correct answer was the Killer D's. They killed the legislative session by breaking quorum. History does really repeat itself in Texas. All right. It's been a fun show today, guys. All right, so what a day, Patriots. We just witnessed the complete transformation of American politics right before our eyes. This isn't just another news cycle. This is history being written in real time, and I'm glad you're here with us at the Next News to watch it happen. Federal forces are deploying across our nation's capital because local Democrats let it become more dangerous than Baghdad. Not surprised. It's happening everywhere Democrats are. The president isn't asking permission or playing politics. He's using constitutional authority to protect American citizens. And when teenagers are being beaten bloody in broad daylight, when drive-bys are killing interns, when carjacks happen at the Capitol itself, talking time is over and the action time has arrived. As they would say, they were in the FA portion, now they're in the FO, and Trump is excellent at delivering on that. The census bombshell changes everything. Democrats just got caught red-handed admitting they need illegal immigrants for political power. And it's not for compassion, it's not for diversity, it's for congressional seats. And 30 seats could flip when we count only citizens. That's 30 districts worth of Americans who've been cheated out of representation by illegal immigration. In California, New York, Illinois, we're talking to you guys. Your political dynasties are built on fraud, and that foundation is crumbling. And Letitia James learning that karma isn't just a concept, it's a federal investigation. She weaponized her office to hunt Trump, and now she's the hunted. A grand jury in Albany is examining how she turned the Attorney General office into a political hit squad. And she campaigned on getting Trump and thought she was untouchable. Well, you're wrong, Letitia. When you're corrupt justice for politics, justice comes for you. Those subpoenas are just the appetizer. The broader explosion is unlike anything we've seen. 80,000 Americans racing to join ICE, 30-foot walls replacing Biden's garden fencing. And the biggest news, our military is going to war against the cartels. And that's not metaphorically, guys. Actual military operations on foreign soil to destroy the terrorists poisoning our children. The Pentagon drawing up battle plans. The age of treating cartels like business is over, and they're enemy combatants now. And there are countless parents in this country who watch their children die from these overdoses because of the cartels, and we are all celebrating. And those Texas Democrats, they're learning you can't run from responsibility forever. The FBI is hunting them down. Their paychecks are frozen, $500 daily fines, felony bribery charges pending. They thought they could stop democracy by running away, but they're just postponing their day of reckoning. Every Democrat governor harboring them is complicit in insurrection. And this is what America First really looks like, folks. It's no more talk, no more negotiations, no more BS, no more playing defense while our country burns. We're taking our nation back one victory at a time. And I'm not sick of losing. I'm not sick of winning. Trump, you're killing it. Keep it going. So I want to thank everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants today. You keep the show running and the truth flowing. Your support means everything in this fight against the mainstream media lies. And as you know, we're at the White House trying to fight that as much as we can. So make sure you tell a friend about the raw feed, share the show, text it to everybody you know, even John at the gas station. And check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com to show the world you stand with real news. And this is Tom McCullough, White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I'm signing off for the night. And Gary will be back Monday with explosive coverage from Ron Paul's birthday celebration. Until then, stay strong, stay informed, and never surrender. And we'll see you guys next time on the Raw Feed. God bless.
Along with me, breaking news, it's a friend.